So the Destiny 2 beta is over. The next time we get to play is the PC beta or the full actual release of the game. I've got quite a few thoughts about what we've seen, what I'm hoping we get, and what I'm worried about, so let's get right into it. I'll start with the story missions. The one we got to play was really solid. I mean, really good. It sets up the entire story for the game in the most simple way possible. The Red Legion have taken all they can from you because they believe they deserve it more than you do. The villain introduction was really solid, and the cinematics are top notch. The gameplay in the mission was also much more interesting than the typical Destiny mission. It wasn't go here, kill this guy, protect your ghost, repeat. There were varied objectives, ranging from helping Zavala protect the tower, to working your way through previously unseen sections of the tower, to disabling the enemy's ship, all climaxing not with a boss fight per usual, but with a story-rich cinematic. Now I'm sure every mission in the game isn't going to be quite as strong as this one. The first mission in the game needs to make a strong first impression, but it does set a tone for a much better story experience than Destiny 1. Now let's talk about the strike. The strike wasn't a big break from the mold of the typical Destiny strike, but it was a very fun strike all the same. Sure, you're still just working through a bunch of little bad guys until you fight one big bad guy who looks very similar to every other big bad guy of the Vex variety, but the feeling it conveyed while you're doing it is very different. I'll let you in on a little secret. I was expecting to absolutely hate Destiny 2. Heck, I hate playing Destiny 1 anymore. And what I hate above all is playing the freaking strikes in Destiny 1. I find them boring, tedious, and repetitive. And maybe down the road I'll think the same thing about the D2 strikes. But I really did enjoy this one, mostly because of the fun environments it throws at you. There's these awesome action set pieces and varied terrain types throughout. And while it wasn't overly mechanics heavy, there were some things that changed the usual formula and made for an interesting experience. Again, we can't assume what the rest of the content is going to be like from just one strike, but if it holds up to this one, I think it's going to be pretty enjoyable. Now, Patrol. We've still seen no Patrol gameplay whatsoever. I know for me and a lot of people, when Destiny 1 was announced, the huge dynamic open world they talked about was a huge draw. The only thing that came close to a dynamic open world was the Dreadnought. So here's hoping Patrol is interesting and worthwhile. We'll just have to wait and see. I've saved Crucible for last. Mostly because this is where I have the most to say and where the game has the biggest chance of sucking me in for the long haul. I'm a Crucible guy. It's probably where I've spent 50% of my time in Destiny 1. But I haven't played it in probably months because I am beyond sick of the balance issues that continue to plague the game. Which is why after the D2 beta I am incredibly excited for the future of Crucible. We had weapons that, though they weren't perfectly balanced, felt almost universally fair. No longer is someone going to run around with a one-shot machine all freaking match long, be it a sniper rifle or a shotgun or sticky grenades, or any other manner of nonsense from Destiny 1. This Crucible relies heavily on individual gun skill, along with moving with purpose and team shooting. The balance isn't perfect, and it really isn't ever going to be. And we haven't seen the vast majority of weapons in the game either, so there could be some incredible imbalance that we just haven't been privy to. But from what we've seen, each weapon type feels like it has a place in the game, and a few things felt useless. Class kills in Crucible have really added another dimension to it as well. It feels like you have a role now, and that your team has need of each and every one of you. Titans can protect their team with their shield, Warlocks can either heal their allies or buff their damage. Now Hunters feel like they got shafted with their class skill, but I really don't see why. Being able to dodge with an empty weapon and immediately being able to engage again with the same weapon is incredibly useful. That means certain engagements will have zero downtime for you. Downtime is a very important aspect of Crucible that you need to manage, and the ability to lessen it that drastically is definitely worthwhile. The maps in the beta were also very good, I think. They felt fair without sacrificing being interesting. There were really good sightlines throughout without anybody having a huge advantage anywhere on the map. There were plenty of good flanking options, and spawn killing seemed like less of an issue in the matches I played, though that can be partially attributed to being 4v4 instead of 6v6. While I'm not a fan of the new game mode, at least not yet, I think it's something that some people will really enjoy. And finally, the subclasses. I didn't have a chance to use each of them extensively, but I really like the change to the majority of them being roaming supers. It makes them, in my opinion, a bit more fun, and allows each of them a bit more flexibility as well. I didn't use any of them to the same extent as the new Titan, but I thoroughly enjoyed using that one. It has some crazy versatility. Being able to be defensive and aggressive in both melee and range means there's a lot of situations that it can be used effectively. Being able to revive a fallen teammate while blocking with it is also a huge asset. At the end of the day, we still don't know how good Destiny 2 is going to be. Might be fantastic, or it might be mediocre. All we've got so far is 1 mission, 1 strike, and 2 Crucible maps and modes. Will it be everything we hope and dream? I mean, probably not. But if it's all as good as the beta, then it will still be pretty great. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. If you liked this thing you just watched, maybe subscribe. If not, make sure you tell your friends that I suck. And as always, thanks for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.